Welcome to Backstage with Becca with special guest Anika Braganza. Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Backstage with Becca. On this episode, this NYU Steinhardt graduate is a multi-talented performer plus singer-songwriter who has made her Off-Broadway debut in the immersive Great Gatsby experience in New York City and just finished playing O-Ren in For the Record Live's CineVita production of Tarantino, Pulp Rock. She also has a singing group with her sisters called the Braganza Sisters. Please welcome Anika Braganza. How are you? I hope you've been able to get some rest since Tarantino and running around that venue.
Yeah. I've been all right. I'm sad that I'm not going to be working on it anymore, but and to be leaving the cast because I love those people. They're all awesome. But yeah, actually really hectic. This is the first day I think I just am staying home. But I've been just kind of trying to have fun with the cast and
Yes.
whatnot. Yeah.
I love how close everyone in every show is, but I feel like with For the Record, that company, everyone
Yeah.
really gets close fast.
Yeah, everyone gets really close and I'm totally new to it. But all the whole cast has just been so welcoming and kind. It's amazing. I feel very blessed.
Yes. And I want to talk more about For the Record and CineVita
Yeah.
later. But I want to know, have you always known you wanted to be a performer? And when was the moment that you first were like, I could do this as a career?
Honestly, I always loved singing and acting. I think when I was a toddler, I used to get up in the morning and just play the Lion King soundtrack and just stand on the couch and just sing the whole thing. Um, so I think that was kind of always in me and in the Filipino culture, I grew up, singing in my grandparents' living room and having a whole performance. Um, but I actually wanted to be a doctor, but more because I feel like I like the aesthetic of being a doctor rather than actually caring about the science. So once it got to the science part, I took bio honors at high school and I was in an art school. And I was like, I actually don't care that much. I just liked saying I wanted to be a doctor, I think, more than I actually wanted to be a doctor. But I love doctors. They're so cool and it takes so much work. But I was like, I don't know if I'm willing to do the work for this. I think I like to sing and act more. And that's when I switched.
Hey, at least you had more of a realistic goal than most children, because for me as a child, my crazy goal was I'm going to be an astronaut one day.
Hey, that's not, excuse me, that's not too bad. I'm very optimistic. So I'm always like, yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Well, then the issue is I watched I don't know if you were into American and Ashley, but I watched American and Ashley space
Oh,
like
yes, I did. I didn't watch that one, I don't think, but
yeah, and I was like, "Oh, that looks fun." I was like, maybe I can do this when I'm 12.
right, exactly. No, exactly.
Yeah, so I was
Yeah.
dreaming big.
Yeah, you're doing big.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. What was the first professional theater show that you remember seeing?
That I remember seeing is probably The Lion King when I was really, really little. I don't remember when, but that was, I think, the first I watched a national tour when I was really young. But I was always just like a Disney kid, so I was just in awe of anything Disney. Um, and then I think my first time really intaking that this is Broadway national tour. Because when I was a kid, I was like, it's a Lion King, amazing.
Right.
Um, was Wicked. That was when, the time where I was actually thinking about being an actress. Um, I watched the Wicked National Tour and I was like, ah!
Yeah, and then she
Yeah.
starts flying and you're like, "Oh."
Yeah. You're like, oh.
Yeah. It's like hard eyes. All of a
Yeah.
sudden, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So growing up, you're in a talented family, super talented family,
Yeah.
where all your
Crazy.
sisters sing.
Yeah.
So growing up, how did you become a well-rounded performer and singer and actor?
Um, I think I was very lucky. One, I mean, I always had, it was just culturally, I did. My great grandma, she would always have themes for her birthday where everyone had to like come up with a performance, and like one year it was country, one year it was just like all out. Um, I forgot. Like you just had to come up with performances, so that was just already built in with me culturally. Um, I grew up kind of like around my um dad's choir. Him and his friends were in the church choir, so I just grew up around a lot of music. But in terms of being serious about it, um, I was lucky that my parents saw that I had interest in theater, and they put me in community theater. Then I just loved taking classes, like I took as many classes as I could. Um, and I went to an art school. So I ended up going to an arts high school, and that's where, we were required to take acting, music theory, all that stuff. At the end of the day, as on top of doing shows and gigs, I never slept in high school. I don't think I don't think I ever got sleep in high school.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I also was just very lucky to have a lot of mentors who saw something and were willing to um let my sisters and I take class for free and really mentor us into getting the skills we needed
Yeah,
just
that's,
to do this.
I mean, it's so cool to have your sisters by your side too.
I
Did,
know. I feel very lucky. I don't know how my parents got cursed with awful artists.
hey, they're like, hey, at least we only have to like drop them off at one after school activity.
Hey, that's true. That is true. It's true.
Like, it, they could be going to like 10 different places across town to.
Yeah, that's true. We could have chosen soccer. No, I can't run for my life. I
Oh
also
my,
like I'm so not athletic. I think my parents were like, all my cousins kind of did soccer and sports, and I think my mother saw me run and was like, yeah, that's not her thing.
I, I mean, I'm gonna say though, theater is kind of athletic, especially
It's
when
super
you
athletic.
play in
Yeah.
CineVita, because like you're running around and you've been in immersive stuff too.
Yes. I've been in a lot of
So
yeah. Mhm.
like that's
Not a
pretty.
lot.
You're doing a lot of activity.
Yeah. It's a workout for sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're athletic.
Yes. Yeah.
So what was you went to an NYU school? How do you say
Mhm.
it? Steinhardt?
Yeah, I went to NYU
It,
Steinhardt.
how did you land on that school and what was your like most valuable takeaway from your education there?
Oh, I wanted to, well, so my sisters were on Broadway as kids, so I was kind of going back and forth from New York and California as much as I could. Um, but I really just wanted to be in the city, and like NYU is like NYU. And I toured the campus, and I really liked how immersed in the city it was rather than just like a typical campus and just, a school. And I really hoped I got in. And then I got in. So I was like, it was my last school. I barely got into a lot of theater programs, and that was like my last one and my top one. And felt very lucky and grateful.
Hey, they saw the
But I
talent.
am in a huge amount of debt. So
Oh, no. It's like why are schools so expensive?
yeah, it's wild.
It
It's wild.
it's ridiculous.
Really wild.
Ridiculous.
Huge biggest takeaway um was honestly I think the people I met, and because it was a music-based program, I met a lot more, outside of musical theater. I met some songwriters and people who were music production, and so I was able to do that and just meet a lot of other musicians that were, um, whether it was musicians in the pit or people who just make music, and know how to, because I also like to write songs and music as well, so I was able to sort of branch out and really learn to admire writers and creators.
It Speaking of that, I want to get into the group you have with your sisters. So
Mhm.
the Braganza Sisters.
Yeah.
You have songs online,
Yes, we do.
Spotify. And what is your songwriting process for like writing these songs?
It depends. So some of them came off of like a collab. People would send us songs and we're like, could you write over this and make something out of this? And sometimes we would be like, sure. And then we made them. A lot of times I think for my own writing process, I, you know, I feel a certain way and I just vomit on to paper or my notes app.
Hey, and you can,
Yeah.
it's kind of like just like jotting down stuff is probably like really helpful.
Yes, and I think I know like a big thing in theater is, the reason why we sing is because there's nothing else to do and you don't know how to express it in any other way. And that's kind of how I feel in my songwriting is there's certain things in my life and there are certain moments and reflections that I'm just like, I can vent about this all day, but I really need to get this out in another form.
Also,
Yeah.
I feel like songwriting is such an impressive art because like it's like you have a thesaurus in your head probably.
I try. I mean, I also have the internet.
I mean that too, but like
Yeah.
you have a basis for like understanding what words you want to use in songs, which brings
Yeah.
you to the internet. Oh, I think it froze.
Specific ones.
Mm,
Yeah.
I think it froze there a little bit.
Oh, said I think it takes a lot of self-reflection to write songs, and I feel that the best songs that I love are the most specific
Yeah,
and vivid in terms of trying to explain what you're trying to say.
yes. I mean, and they connect with people too
Yeah.
if they're like that.
Yeah.
So like you
Mhm.
can reach a lot of people and people will be like, "Hey, like those lyrics."
Yeah, and it's crazy too because sometimes a lot of these songs that I write are just so personal. And to hear that other people are like, I feel less alone. This really spoke to me. I'm like, true, girl, you're going through it too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you had like any like random people like come across your songs and like reach out to you and be like, I just like found your songs on
Yes.
Spotify.
Yes, sometimes people will slide into the DMs and be like, I listened to this on I needed this. And that's the best message I could ever get is like when I'm sad or even like friends of friends who are like, "Oh my gosh, my friend listens to your song because when, they're going through something and it just really helps them and going through their life and processing different moments."
Yes, that's amazing. I love that these music platforms exist
Mm.
because it is really easy in this day and age to discover new songs and new artists for people who
Yeah. Yeah.
really appreciate
Hmm.
and love music and wear their headphones 24/7 because they just want to listen to music.
Yeah, that's me.
Yes. And do you have a favorite song that you've recorded and released and why?
Oh, um, I would have to say the most fun with my sister's recording was either Ellen or Into You, and that was a collab with another artist. It was just so fun. It was one of those like really fun songs um we got to do together. It was just fun. I think ooh, that's hard. Holographic Love was my first, but my most recent one, Counting the Ways, I think feels more recently special to me.
Oh, it's like because I mean, maybe you connect more with the recent one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
But in
And
terms of as a group, I like Into You and Ellen, I think the most.
I
Because
mean, I'm sure it's hard to pick a favorite when
yeah.
you're working with your sisters and like singing these
Yeah.
songs with your sisters because it's all like a bonding experience to
Yes.
have fun
Yes.
with them.
Yes. And even like the more personal songs to me, Um, I don't know how they feel about it, but I feel very um they just know everything about my life, and it feels really special to have the people who've held me during that time create this beautiful art piece. So it feels special to me. But I think in terms of having more fun and freedom and recording other things, the more fun songs are fun to do as a group.
I was listening to an interview of an artist the other day talking about like recording with a significant other in a studio,
Oh,
saying that like when you're in a studio and like you're recording songs, you talk about things that are personal that you might not talk about in your outs in like the outside world too.
yeah. Yeah,
Really
sure.
interesting.
Like they know the background of everything. So they're really good at, holding space, as we say.
Yes. Yes. Have you okay, you've seen the Wicked movie, yeah?
Have I?
Yeah.
Have I
How
multiple
many times?
times? Yeah. Huh?
How many times?
Um, not that many actually.
Same actually.
Yeah, maybe two and a half.
Okay.
Because I was kind of like walking around, and of course I just kind of sit and listen if it's on.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Hmm.
gotta listen to the songs.
Yeah, I have to
So,
stay if it's there.
yeah, and then you can like do stuff in the background.
Yes.
All the interviews with that cast just like crack me up.
Amazing.
They're
It's amazing.
so they're so entertaining.
Yes. And it was so long.
Oh
They
my
kept it up
gosh.
for so long. I don't know how they did that.
Oh my,
But,
like everything about like the award season felt so long too for them. Like
yes. Yeah.
wild. So I want to talk about the immersive Great Gatsby
Yeah.
show that you did, which I
Hmm.
saw a ton of videos and pictures from that, and that looked so cool.
It was
But
so fun.
I love immersive stuff,
Yeah.
and I never went to it, but it's something that I'm very intrigued about.
Yeah.
You talk about like what visitors experience when they walk into the venue that this took place at.
Okay, it was super. Okay, so like for the record, like the Tarantino is immersive
Yes.
in terms of like we're around you and you're kind of like in the space of everything that's happening. Gatsby is like you are in the show. It is it was really fun. So you walk in and for the moment you walk in, we're kind of there. So the point of it was you are at Gatsby's party and the whole thing takes place like in the party, within the party. So you watch it go down throughout the night, and people take you into different rooms. So it almost feels like a choose your own adventure where you're just seeing the Great Gatsby under the perspective of certain characters. So every time you go, it's going to be different. So you could get a combination, you could stick with one character. Um, and but by the end, it ultimately comes to the same ending, but as the characters were like asking you what to do and asking you personal questions, you're like kikiing with the characters being like, have you ever fallen in love? Have you ever had this choice? And people would share their stories. Some people would be like, "Oh," feel really
Like,
awkward about it. But most of the time, people had just amazing advice and just crazy stories and heartbreaking stories that it really was really fun as the actor.
oh my gosh,
But
that's
it
so
was difficult because it also changes for you every night. You have we had, I think, 3 levels of script, which was, I don't remember the name. So if the director sees this, sorry, I forgot. Like there's the set script, then there's the script that you can make flexible and move around depending on how the audience reacts. And then there's the improv script, which you're just going off of what the other people are saying.
wait, I adore that because like that's why most people I feel like love theater is
Hmm.
because things can change.
Yeah.
And when shows have flexibility like that, and it's immersive on top of that,
Yeah.
that's just that makes for like a really cool experience that you're like, hey, I can bring multiple friends to this multiple times.
Yes. And it'll be different every time. And I think the tragedy of it is like it still ends. You kind of feel, I think that's why a lot of people felt deeply about it, people who got into the show, was like you felt like you really tried to talk to Daisy, talk her out of it, talk to all the friends, and it's same tragedy. Capitalism sucks.
Ugh, just like,
You know?
like what? How do I change it?
Yeah. So a lot of people were like, oh, no.
No, not
Um,
again.
yeah. Or some people would be really upset by the end.
Oh
Just
my.
like really upset with the characters. You're
Oh.
like, "What?" Okay, just so you know, I am an actor. Um,
Yeah, you're like they're like I tried to talk you all out of this.
yeah. So it was really fun to also talk to the people right after. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's so fun. And like the venue is decorated. I've seen pictures. So
Yeah, the venue was amazing. Really cool, really well decorated. Yeah.
how did you get involved in that experience?
I literally I just auditioned and I just did it. It was one of those things where you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
Then you just go for it, and by the grace of God, you just lucky enough to book it.
And I saw that that was like the first immersive thing that you've done.
Yeah. And it was also my very first like professional at like equity union job.
Oh my gosh. And people from like I feel like a bunch of shows happening at the
Hmm.
time it took place would like come in and
Yeah.
for the experience too, which is really fun.
And it was easy for people to come in multiple times because it's not like you're sitting and you're watching the same show.
Yeah.
So a lot of people like to get different combinations. And to this day, I don't know what some of the other actors did.
But I'm curious, how would you convince someone who's never done an immersive show to do an immersive show like this or an immersive experience like this?
How would I convince them? Oh, well, you know that feeling you get when there's an audience in live theater, that just energy that you guys share. Imagine that, but times 10. It's for me, it's the best part of theater because I think that art should be a healing experience. It was my way of being a like more of a spiritual doctor. Not one that's cutting you open, but in ways that, I want to reach into your heart and I want to heal together. I want to, or have a good time. I think immersive theater allows for that to really just experience it with the audience. You're not just like, here's a stage and, there's audience right in front of you watching a story take place. They're in it with you and experiencing it more potently, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've crossed out off like your childhood goal too with the
Yeah.
spiritual doctor thing.
I know, I try to do that. That's my goal is to I love doing this, but I also want to be a healing aspect, hopefully.
Yes. Yes. And I feel like that's why people are attracted to theater. So like good on you for like
Mhm.
for realizing that and like diving into that and try
And
and
I think creating space is a huge thing for me. I love to create space for people to
yeah,
feel, um, just in life.
yeah.
So I think to do that and get paid to do that, especially in immersive theater, you create the space and you allow them to step in and dip their toes with you, um, which can be mostly amazing. And sometimes there are people who to take it a little too far, and that's when then you learn how to set boundaries.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And before I get into CineVita, I want to ask, have you done a show, whether it was like pre-college and college or after college regionally, that like you really enjoyed doing and that you'd want to do again in the future?
That I really enjoy doing. Hmm.
Or that you would want to do like on Broadway or a tour?
I don't know. I'm very much, I don't know. People ask me this like my dream role. I don't know if there was anything that really, like any specific show that I did that made me be like, I really want to do theater. I did a chorus line in high school that I really loved. That was really fun, and Krista Rodriguez directed it. Yeah, and it was a really amazing, intense experience. But I don't know. I feel like my dream role hasn't been written yet. Um, I would love to like create something new. But I would also, in the future, love to be Mama Rose in Gypsy.
Oh, hey, and I mean, it's possible. I
It's
feel it. Yeah.
later.
Long distance
If you
future.
ask me to do it now, I will
Long
actually do
distance
it.
future.
In the long distant future. I think that
You
would be
have
really
the voice
fun.
for it though. Like, come on.
Oh, thanks.
Like your voice is wild. And that kind of brings me to CineVita, which I was just I'm always blown away by the productions that For the Record puts on. But
Mm.
like going in, I was just like when you came out and sang your big solo, I was like,
Oh, thanks.
excuse me?
Oh. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
you don't expect those voices to come out of like some people, and then you're like, oh, okay.
A tiny body. I also forget how tiny I am. And then I look in the mirror. Sometimes I'll be walking and I'll be like, I'm so close to the ground. I had no idea. Just because I feel like I walk around so big. Um, like just like this big energy.
Yes.
Um,
How did you get involved in Cinevita, and how did you like find out about For the Record?
I had no idea anything. I keep doing projects where I'm like, I had no idea. I had no idea this was happening. Um, it was one of those auditions my agent sent me, and I was like, sure. And this was the one audition this week that week that I got that I was just like, I'm not getting this. I don't know how to speak Japanese. I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna have fun. I'll do what I can, but I don't I don't look Japanese, and I actually added the Filipino line because I was like, I'm not gonna pretend I look
Yes.
like Chinese Japanese because it just never works in my favor to like pretend that I'm someone I'm not. Um, and then funny enough, I was walking home from the gym and there's a mural that said good luck spot and I touched it and I got
Oh
I
my
know that
God.
they were interested in having me, which was so crazy that I
Wait,
got to touch that wall.
where is that mural? Because
It is in New York. It's in the East Village. There's this one guy who he like writes stuff in chalk and he like there's a bunch of bad luck spots and good luck spots, but I will play hopscotch to not step in the bad luck spot.
so very superstitious.
I try not to be, but in those things I want to be safe.
Yes, yes. It's like stepping over cracks as a child.
Yes,
Oh
yes.
my gosh, would constantly pay attention
Yeah.
to the ground.
I'm like, not
Oh my gosh.
such a
And
dramatic child.
I'm curious because like when I was first told about the Cinevita venue, I was like, okay, that sounds cool, but I was like cautiously optimistic about it happening. So
Mm.
when you heard like what the venue was, oh, what was your initial reaction that like when you heard it was a tent?
Um, I was just like, oh, cool. I didn't think too much about it, but I didn't know the craftsmanship that went into it. I didn't even pay attention much until I got there and saw how beautiful it was. Because really I was just like, okay, I'm gonna focus on doing my work as an actor. I don't care too much like what the theater is like, unless it's like gross and dirty, which I never really come across, knock on wood. Um, but like I didn't intake the beauty and craftsmanship until I got to the venue and also learned about and started the project. But before then, I was just like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do the work it takes to be prepared and do the best I can.
Yes. And you get to like step into a very like supportive community of people.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this cast is gas. I told them at the end of the show, I was like, I hate all of you because it's so much harder to leave this job. Um, knowing that you guys have become one of my most favorite, closest friends.
Oh, well, that just means that you have to come back and work with For the Record again down the line.
Yes. Hopefully, I'm hoping, when they move to the East Coast or something,
Yes.
that's just easier for me to do.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they'll have you back.
Yeah, well, hopefully, I don't know.
I'm,
I
I,
don't, but I'll
uh,
gladly support whoever is, stepping in.
they definitely always like you, they're really good at finding talent. I mean, come on. And like finding unique talent too, which
Yeah, the people are so talented. It's really crazy. It's
and
crazy.
And I find it fascinating because I was talking with Emily yesterday and she was talking about like there's so many people involved who are like just creatives and
Mhm.
songwriters. And I didn't
Yeah.
really think about that until like I knew that, but I didn't really think about that until that conversation yesterday. And I
Mhm.
think that really helps
Yes.
with
Yeah.
their stories.
Most of these people are creatives, and I've found people who do immersive shows are creative outside of theater, like either do music or they a lot of them are creators themselves outside of like just being actors. And I think that it makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely makes.
Really have to create an atmosphere for these people and surround them and engulf them into this world.
Yes, yes. What was the rehearsal process like for you for CineVita? And what was the like most memorable part about stepping into and creating the first cast that gets to do a show there in this town?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty standard. I think we did music first, and then we went straight to staging. I think the first thing I learned physically was a sword fight.
Oh,
That was a big process. I think the hardest part is we didn't have mirrors, like rehearsal mirrors, to look at ourselves. So I practiced a lot at home and continued to practice. And then I would on my uh kind of like breaks or whenever I could, I would try to stand in front of a mirror just to like check on each position. But yeah, we just like kind of learned the material and then went straight to staging. And we also went by instead of like stage left, stage right, because there was a round and it's like around
yeah.
10. We went by clocks, like
Oh,
clockwise, like this is 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, the 1 o'clock exit, 6 o'clock exit. So yeah, it was the first time I've ever had to deal with that as well.
okay,
Um,
that's really cool. That makes sense.
Mhm. So
Are,
yeah.
Yeah. Are you like intrigued now about seeing more For the Record shows and which For the Record show are you would you most want to see?
Um, yeah, I'm intrigued to see um other other shows just because I know that they always pull through with the talent. And a great time. Everyone who's come to the show has said it's so fun. I've had family members come multiple times and n not get tired of it. Um, and you've been multiple
Oh
times.
my,
So people
yeah.
like people come or people that I've never met are like I'm dying. They'll DM me and say I'm dying to come back. I want to come back. I've had so much fun. Um, I don't know which one I'm most intrigued. Maybe the ones any of the other casts are in, or like Baz Luhrmann I heard is really fun because I just feel like it's on
Oh no, I was I was gonna say I could see you in Baz Luhrmann.
things. I've never seen anything that they've done. I just sort of dove into this
Yes.
unknowingly.
And the sword fight scene, the way you all do it, like I've seen it done in multiple different venues now.
Hmm.
But just the choreography that goes into that is insane and wild and like is so perfected.
Awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. I was
Also,
so
the
scared to do it. I never sword fought in my life. Like I was laughing. That's why I thought I was like, I cannot sword fight. I can act crazy, but I'm not like so I really practice. So I, I really practiced. So I'm glad it looks good.
I mean, I would have like assumed that you studied like the Parent Trap scene multiple times or something, like
No, I studied the choreographer. She was so good at it.
oh,
Um, and then I studied just Kill Bill as well.
yes,
And
yes.
also my own body positions on, how certain things look, um, while also intaking the story of the fight.
And people don't realize like even in shows that don't have that aren't like dance shows, like there's choreography.
And it's, oh my gosh, I've never been so out of breath in my life. Even running around in the other immersive show where we never went off stage, like we are just on the whole time.
Well, during the sword fighting scene,
But
you're
the
running
sword
back
fight
and
takes me
forth.
out. Even if we're just practicing and doing our fight call, I'm like out of breath.
Well, yeah, because you're running, you're like back and forth and like changing costumes,
Yeah.
and it's just like,
And it
I,
takes a lot of control, to like also just not fully swing the sword, but stop it, but also make it look like you're really struggling.
yes, yes, it's so cool. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, your solo scene is just so badass. Come on.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
What's your favorite part about getting to be in that scene?
Um, I feel like it's rare for me, I feel like, especially as an Asian actor, to be so badass and not, I guess, and that's I'm not so out of control, but there's a moment where, there's something really boiling under you. Um, I think a lot of things I get as an Asian are like the sweet demure girl, and to not be demure is so fun for me because it's just not who I am. Um, but yeah, I love doing it. And also like when I see other Asians in the audience and just being like standing up against any racism and Asian hate, it really I see them just be really excited. And I think she's just such an iconic character.
Yeah.
Such a iconic badass character. And to get to do that is so fun. Is a blessing. I think just being able to be badass the whole time and crazy and bonkers in a full uh, eh, four-dimensional human is
Yeah.
always just so fun.
And you get to hear the audience's reaction to
Yes.
your line in that moment. Like the
Yeah.
audience gets time to react and
hmm
to be
Whether or not they love that's their favorite scene or whether or not they just love the energy of it.
see, for me, I mean, I'm not really a Tarantino girl. I'm just an FTR girl. So it's the energy.
Yeah.
Absolutely the energy.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a film student, so of course I like studied his movies, but like it was
Mhm.
scenes.
Yeah, I didn't really watch Tarantino. I think I got traumatized as a kid walking into Kill Bill and seeing all the blood, and so I don't know, I just never got back to it because as a kid I was like, ah!
I,
Um,
I got traumatized by that in college. They made me like do in my freshman year, like a little like sound editing project with one of the scenes.
yeah.
And I was like,
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, it's a lot of blood, but I learned to love it a lot because it's so campy and it's kind of like revenge porn. It's revenge that you wish happened like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You're just like, I wish people got the revenge like this.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was explaining to my sister after the show because she was like, I don't know anything about Tarantino, and this was like so like there's so much violence in it, and I'm like, the thing is though, it's like revenge
Yes.
happening.
And it's just so theatrical and campy. It's done in just such a fun way.
It,
Um, yeah,
it,
which is why I think it makes the show so fun.
yeah, it's absolutely genius.
Hmm.
So you're unfortunately left the show,
I
but
know.
I I mean, in the future, we're gonna manifest down the line. You're gonna be back with For the Record because
Yes.
they are probably like, okay, how can we bring her back eventually? But how would you convince people to go to CineVita, whether they're in LA or whether they're somewhere else in the country, that
Oh,
CineVita is gonna come to
Oh,
in the
yeah.
future?
Well, first of all, everyone is so talented. It's crazy. It's crazy the amount of talent there is in this cast. Like, there's not one person you're like, ee. Everyone is just singing down. Um, it's your favorite movies brought to you by a bunch of really badass, talented people. And whether you're a film buff or a theater buff, you're gonna enjoy it because you'll get the nuance of either side. Um, yeah, whether it's the sound, or even if like you're a music buff, because it's just banger after banger. It's your favorite songs from your parents' favorite songs, even or grandparents. It brings the whole family together for a show of some campy violence and revenge. Um, yeah.
Yes. And
So
stop.
it's for everybody, you know. Some of my friends who came to see it came because their partners, their friends were Tarantino fans.
Hey.
So, and she's, a choreographer. So
Yeah.
it's a show for everyone and a good time.
Yes. It's and I mean you can get food there too. Like that's
Yes.
fun. It's just like a whole experience.
And the venue is beautiful. It feels like an old timey homage. It's just such a good love letter to LA.
It,
Um, because it's paying homage to like your classics in
yeah.
a form of theater and music.
I just can't wait to see like the whole venue full because
Yeah.
like it's brand new, so it's
Yeah.
gonna take some time.
Hmm.
But like the word of mouth spreads, and I am excited to see like the whole second level sold out.
Yeah.
Just like
And I will say, like Saturday nights, if you want a crazy crowd, Saturday nights are the nights to go.
yes,
Because, yeah, I think last Saturday night we had to wait for like almost, it felt like 2 minutes of people just like clapping and stomping their feet. Some people were like banging on the stage. It was so, I almost got teary-eyed, but I was like, You have to stay in character."
no, I
Um,
heard that
yeah,
yesterday. I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. I need to go on.
amazing. Like the whole tent was thundering. Um,
Love
yeah.
it. Love that people are like so into it, and people are.
Yeah.
I mean, that means people are gonna tell their friends and be back.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so
Because
that's
it's again, like if I'm gonna convince you, it's sexy, it's funny, it's um it is adrenaline pumping. It's a great time with anyone, whether it's a date, your family, your friends. Yeah.
yes. I don't know how you like go on stage and perform while listening to voices around you and like stay in character instead of just going, what the heck? Like,
Yeah.
how are you all so good?
Yeah, no, we just get off stage and immediately it happens every night, which is so crazy actually, now that I'm realizing it. Every time we go off stage, we're like, that was amazing. That was so good. Or we'll even hear audiences and be like, by the way, I heard a lady go, beautiful. Or we intake the support from the audience and pass it on. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that you like can hear audience reactions. That's really fun.
Yes, and we'll tell each other, be like, guess what? Did you hear that? They loved you.
Yeah, and like when it's a compliment that like that's going out to you, you kind of like ignore it in the moment because I feel like
Yeah, 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 because you're in the moment. You're not taking it in.
yeah,
You're in this.
yeah, yeah. You're like, "Oh, well, okay,
Yeah.
that's cool,
And
but
sometimes you can snap out of it and it's funny. But
right.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Well, I'm so glad that that you're officially joined the FTR group,
Me
and
too.
I can't wait to see you in a future FTR show. And I want to ask, do you have audition tips for like up and coming performers in this industry? Because auditions for this industry, they're so like they take time and they're just so intense.
Mhm. Um, I hate them. I hate them. I, I don't like them.
Honesty.
Um, but I think what helps me is rather than, and this is easier said than done, but rather it being a test of how talented you are. Um, have fun. Give them your heart. Show them what you love about yourself rather than what you think they'll love. And I think that's always been a really successful tool for not just me, but my friends who stay booked. They are just themselves, completely themselves, and they remain booked because people love them, and that's what you want to do is you want to you we don't want to see a carbon copy of the same person.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's gonna be really boring. So I think being yourself and showing the part of you that you love the most is probably my best. And be prepared. Know your stuff. D-
I
Just,
mean,
yeah, know your stuff. Be prepared. Do the work.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's always good for
Mhm.
any interview, audition,
Yeah.
etc. Like that's always good to be prepared.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I'm also curious. I was just thinking about it because earlier you were saying that you want to do like original work. So have
Mm.
you and your sisters ever talked about bringing something to Broadway or
Oh
to
my God.
stage?
That that would be really cool. But I mean, we talk about we write some things together, but Broadway and that's just like such a huge leap. And we understand, working with new writers takes years, if any. Um, but yeah, I think when I say new works, I kind of like to work with new writers too. I mean, as well as writing my own things and learning from that. But at where I'm at right now, I love working with people who are writing things that are new.
Yeah.
Um, I think it excites me. That excites me the most is uplifting new writers. I want to see what's next. Rather
Yes.
than try to catch up to people, I'd like try to, get to the top and to some status. I like to move with a team and help uplift other new artists as much as I can.
Oh my God. I mean, and new work is like, I feel like so rare these days, like new work,
Yeah.
which it's always refreshing to see something that's just like a
Mm.
brand new idea
Yeah.
come to stage. I
Mhm.
was gonna like use maybe Happy Ending as an example.
Yeah. Like
It's just
really
all
fun new things that, it takes years to even get to Broadway. So usually if I'm thinking about something new, I'm not really thinking about where's this going to go. I just want to know like what story are we trying to tell? And how can I contribute to making this another wonderful story?
yes. A- And I'm sure I'm manifesting that this happens that you get to like originate your own
Yeah.
role on stage. And I mean, you're a creative, so I can absolutely see it happening.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, well,
very near future. I can see it happening.
thank you so
Uh,
much.
of course, of course. Where can people follow you on social media to keep up with what you're doing and to keep up?
Yes. I mean, I deleted TikTok and I'm trying not to go back, but it's really hard because I keep getting sent stuff. So I don't have TikTok anymore, but I have Instagram. Anika Bananica, Anika Okay.
Like, how do I spell it?
Yeah, I'm like, wait, what is my Anikabananica.
Perfect.
Anika Bananica. You can follow me on Instagram and see what I'm doing. If you're around any show I'm in, hey.
Yes, definitely.
Mhm.
And I mean, I can be a little a reference here. Like, go see her in shows,
Oh,
y'all.
thank you.
Go see her in shows, y'all, for sure. And I'll also include like links to your to the songs that you and your sisters have too, so people can check that out.
Cool. Yeah, you can also follow us on the Braganza Sisters, which is Braganza, Braganza Sisters, Sisters.
Yes, and I'll put all the links in the lower thirds in the description. And
Awesome.
my last question is,
Yes.
Do you have anything else that you'd want to promote? And if not, just like how do you work on self-confidence in this industry?
Oh, therapy. Therapy.
Yes.
Um, Self-confidence is self-care and knowing your value and surrounding yourself with people who value you and your time. So, yeah, I think self-confidence comes within yourself and working on yourself, and it's really it's easier said than done, but it's trying not to find um things outside of yourself to fill that hole, but having the proper team and soulmates around you to really uplift you when you don't have the capacity to do that. And I just feel very lucky, especially like a cast like this and things that I've done, to be surrounded with people who want to uplift me and people that I want to see grow. So I think you attract the energy um, you put out, and the things you value will come to you. Yeah, like I value seeing people uplift each other, and I have been so lucky to be surrounded by that. Yeah.
Yes. It, oh my gosh, like that. I was thinking about like because I was seeing y'all stories this week, and I was like, oh, it's so cute that they're like that they're on a break from the show too this week, and
Yeah.
everyone's just like hanging out, having fun.
Yes. Yes.
It just
We're all friends.
yeah,
Create space for others, and others will want to create space for you. I think that, and self-confidence comes with that because you know that you walk into a space knowing that you're valuable.
yes, and
Mhm.
you are valuable.
Yes, you are. You
Yes,
just have to know that and believe it. You can say it, but you have to believe it.
exactly, exactly. Well, I'm so glad we got to do this. Uh, I was like, when I saw you were gonna be in FTR in CineVita, I was like, wait, no way! What a small world!
So crazy. Yes, you were the interview. My sister kicked me out of the hotel room because I wasn't allowed to watch it. So, yeah, she was like, I don't want to do an interview in front of you. So I was like, okay, I'll go to the gym. So
Yeah,
I didn't get to see your face, but now that I know it's you, amazing. What a wonderful full circle moment.
I know. It's
Yeah.
just an insanely small world.
Yeah,
And
I know. I know.
I mean, I don't know if Hadestown is on the list eventually, but I was gonna say it'd be so cool. It's one of my favorite shows to see you in it eventually.
I would love to, and I would love to also see my sister in it
Oh
again.
my gosh, yes. Do you get to see her in it multiple times?
Yeah, of course. I see my sister maybe like at least 5 times in any show she does.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
love that show.
amazing.
It's
It's
genius.
crazy. It's
Well,
yeah.
it's been so fun chatting with you, and
Ah,
I can't wait to see all that you do in in your future, everything that you do on the East Coast, and I'm excited to follow your journey.
yes, thanks so much.
Of
So
course.
nice to meet you and talk to you
Yeah.
and chat to you. Thanks for having
Of
me.
course, of course. Thanks for watching this episode of Backstage with Becca B. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV. Or for more exclusive content from this interview and more, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Backstage with Becca B. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video. Or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and give me a 5-star rating. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.